What is up, y'all? Welcome back to Tompa Bay in ESPN NFL 2K5. We're coming off of a big win against the Carolina Panthers. We're actually pretty close to clinching a playoff spot at this point. We're 8-3, and the closest team to us in our division are the Atlanta Falcons at 5-6. But before we get to them, let's toss it to last week's SportsCenter with Chris Berman down in the studio.
I'm Chris Berman. Let's get straight to the action. In our first game this week, we had the Ravens come away with a 7-point win. The Vikings won this contest, but will stay at the second place in the NFC North. Keyshawn Johnson stepped it up this week and gave his team some added firepower for the win. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Browns pick up their 8th win of the year. Charlie Garner rushed for over 50 yards and helped his Buccaneers beat the Panthers. We had a big trade also of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
Over now to news of a trade that might have some ramifications. Brad Johnson leaves the Buccaneers and will be on his way to the Patriots. He'll take with him a couple of draft picks as well, a first-round pick and a future first-round pick. And they obviously see that as one of the areas that needs improvement. In exchange, they'll get someone to beef up their roster. Tom Brady is a guy that ought to be able to fit right in with his new club, and he should make his presence felt over time.
Colts, Lions. Starvin' Marvin Harrison is split out at the 39-yard line. And a short play, and he's running deep. Makes the grab at the 10-5, touchdown. The Colts go on to win this by the final score of 21-18. Down in the sunny skies of Arizona, we had the Cardinals get nipped by 3 points. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris. Let's switch gears and talk about players that'll have new homes in the National Football League, as free agency continues to play such a huge role in determining a team's makeup. Sam Madison will be moving on from his current address, and he gets a pretty good deal to do it. 4 years, $11.9 million, plus a $1.1 million signing bonus. Marvin Jones is on the move as well as he signs a 3-year contract with the Bills. Jason Gilden will have a new place to call home as he accepts a new contract. 6 years, $22.7 million. On top of that, a $2.2 million signing bonus. Jeremiah Trotter will also have a new address for a while as he signs a 4-year contract with the 49ers. In front of you, we've got the AFC Infirmary Report. And as you can see, they were hit hard this week. Orpheus Roy is probably the one that most leaps out at you. Tests at the stadium revealed a broken kneecap, so he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. There's a chance, however, they'll get him back for the playoffs. In front of you, we've got the NFC list. And as you can see, they could form their own MASH unit. Brian Westbrook might be the biggest loss on this list. He's suffering from symptoms of a concussion, and he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. There's a chance, however, they'll get him back for the playoffs.
Over at 3Com Park, we had the 49ers decisively win by 17 points. The Rams defense held their opponents to under 100 rushing yards in their win at Lambeau Field. Chargers, Chiefs. Larry Johnson is just thinking, let's get out of the shadow of our own goal line. There's a first down. What shadows? The only shadows are the defenders behind him. He could go all the way. A 98-yard run. The Chiefs win this one by the final score of 20-7. The Titans won on the road and will have to travel again next week when they meet the Colts. The Raiders lost this one, but will stay at number 1 in the AFC West. Dante Stallworth stepped it up this week and gave his team some added firepower for the win. Eric Mould pulled down 100-plus receiving yards and helped his Bills beat the Seahawks. In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Giants pick up their 8th win of the year. Redskins, Steelers. Chad Scott is almost like a center fielder back there. Picks it off at his own 30-yard line. Look at the wheels in the midfield stripe. He's thinking more than just a pick. He's thinking touchdown. What a turnaround, 70 yards. The Steelers win this one by the final score of 14-9. So let's change things up a bit and turn to a guy that's had his eye on the college game, and that's our own Mel Kiper Jr. He joins us now. Mel, your work never ends, I know. Believe me, I know better than anybody else. But it's never too early to start thinking about next year's draft, is it?
Never too early indeed. And now that, for the most part, the regular season in college football is behind us, we can really start looking back at the guys that have impressed me the most across college campuses this year. Daniel is a guy right off the bat that's really impressed me thus far. 6 feet, 303, out of Central Florida. And this is a guy I think will be an anchor for some team's line for years to come. He's got great balance and good footwork in the middle, but what I like most is he's got real leadership qualities. And he's not afraid to take charge out there. Saunders is another guy whose play is making NFL scouts sit up and take notice. He's very active for a linebacker and possesses both the speed to stay with receivers and also the strength to be a factor in stopping the run. So that'll do it for now, but expect there to be plenty happening between now and April.
So another week in the books here on ESPN, but what do you say we hand out a few game balls before we go? Here's my prime-time players. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Taking a look at the injury report, our one casualty of that great win was Charlie Gardner going down with an injury. Thankfully, he's just out for this one game with a hyperextended elbow. Looking back at the Falcons, it's only been about a month since we've played them, so not much has changed other than the stats. Michael Vick having a good year, 20 touchdowns to 7 interceptions with almost 2,500 yards. Work done is about to eclipse his workload from last year, or he's already eclipsed his workload. He's about to eclipse his stats in terms of yards gained. Peerless Price is at 648 yards and 5 touchdowns so far this year, getting close to his yardage total from last year. Now flipping it over to the other side of the ball, Keith Brooking is holding things down in the middle of the field. 67 tackles so far. Well, 6 next to a 7, you know what that means. 2 forced fumbles and 2 interceptions. Behind him, Corey Hall, the guy who made that incredible one-handed interception in the last game, has 2 of those things, plus a sack and a half, and at 61 tackles, a high for him so far in his career. So we match up really well against the Falcons. Still 94 defense, 86 defense, 93 overall to their 86. Let's see if we can get 2 wins against these teams in a row.
I'm Chris Berman, and coming up on ESPN, we'll see a man that's a dual threat out of the backfield. 75 catches last year for Michael Pittman. He'll likely touch the ball plenty in this one. Atlanta, Tampa Bay. It's go time.
All right, y'all, we're welcoming the Atlanta Falcons into a beautiful, sunny, potentially a little chilly, but it's a little muggy in the air as well. We are in Florida at Tampa Bay Stadium. We have the offensive and defensive squad of the Buccaneers ready to go, as well as the Tampa Bay faithful able to wear t-shirts and light sweaters here 11 weeks into the season. That's just a beautiful thing. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers do get to take over first, and Tom Brady is gunning right out of the gate. He goes deep to Ted Dilger. We didn't even hear Dilger's name the whole last episode. He comes out and gets a 20-plus yard gain. Allstott could have had a lane to the outside. He instead cuts it up the middle for a gain of 3. Quick drop back, quick pass, quick catch by Joey Galloway, moving the chains forward. I don't know why we're looking at Tom Brady's last year numbers considering how far into this season we are, but regardless, play continues. Pittman in for the injured Charlie Gardner is going to gain a couple of yards on the play, but he was tackled by the face mask by one Keith Brooking, so that's going to bring up a 1st and 10 all the way up on the Atlanta 19-yard line as we accept that penalty. Tom dropping back to pass on 1st down, has some time, starts to roll out to his right, throws it over the middle, trying to get for Galloway over the middle. That one is going to fall to turf. That was a lucky that it only fell to turf. There were 2 defenders around, as well as the 1 receiver. 4-yard gain by Allstott, making the guy fall to the turf with his shoulder. Brady looking over the middle, has Keenan McCarr down for the 1st down, just over by the hairs of his chin, if you will. and he gets a first down and goal. Very next play, Kidden Cardell on the flat, catches that one, has plenty of room in front of him to sort of stumble into the end zone. He gives the ball to a lucky fan, and the Tampa Bay faithful are rewarded with an early touchdown. A little pitch and catch between Tom Brady and Keenan McCardell leads to 6 points, and then the extra point will make it a 7-point lead for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right off the bat. Kind of an easy drive for them. 8 plays, 48 yards right to the house. Going to get a return to about the 28-yard line by TJ Duckett, and that's going to be Warren Dunn taking the first run. You can see me kind of filling in the wrong hole there. That's what she said. Peanut time. Like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You're trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. Work done is tackled by Dwight Smith. That's going to be a 3rd and 5. He's going to run it again. I'm a little surprised that they go for the run again, considering how well we defended the first 2 plays on the run, but Quarles and Gold are able to combine for the tackle, and you can see there, you could see where the clipping happened. So there is going to be a clipping called on this return. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a holding call. Excuse me, it's a holding call, not a clipping call. I thought it was a clip, it was a hold instead. Still going to move this all the way back to the 17-yard line. Michael Pittman trying to look for room, does not find any Webster in there on the tackle, just a 1-yard gain. Pittman getting another run, going to run out to the outside of his blockers, puts his shoulder into the charge, and he's going to get all 10 of those yards back. So we go to Mike Allstott, who not only gets the first down, he gets like 7 yards before anyone even lays a hand on him. So Brady going to drop back, pass quickly on the left side. That's going to be McCardell looking for the pass, but instead it's going to be incomplete. Rod Coleman is shaken up on the play. We'll see if he comes back at all in this game. We get a fake toss and then a handoff to Allstott, who's taken off to the outside, making 3 guys miss with his shoulder. I didn't even know you could shoulder charge that quickly in real life. We're going to get a first down on the great run from Mike Allstott. We're going to throw to our left side on first down. We miss Pittman. Don't know how we throw that one behind him, but we're going to move on regardless. Pittman getting nothing on second down. Keith Bricking in there on the tackle. That brings up a third down. We're throwing quickly to Ken Dilger. Ken Dilger has doubled his completions from the last game to this game. He's got 2 receptions so far in this first quarter. Pittman trying to get around the blocker. He does, but he is tackled quickly by Hull. It's only a 2-yard gain. We're going to go into the second quarter up by a score of 7-0 here under the shadow of the Tampa Bay Barge. Let's call it the Tampa Bay Barge. I know it's not a barge, but I'm going to call it a barge regardless. Tom dropping back on second down, firing to the left side. That's going to be Michael Clayton making an athletic grab, reaching back behind him for that one. Play action for Tom, throwing it over the middle, and this one's going to be intercepted. Intercepted in the end zone by Scott. I'm not entirely sure what Tom was thinking here. I don't know. I think he was maybe trying to throw it to Michael Clayton versus Dilger, who he had over the top. Maybe if he had just floated it to his tight end, it would have been a touchdown instead of an interception. But regardless, the Falcons take over from their own 20. Warren Dunn goes nowhere on first down, but then we've got a deep pass from Michael Vick, which is bobbled and dropped by Finneran. That's going to bring up 3rd and 10. Michael dropping back to pass again on third down. This one's going to be hauled in. Number 89, I'm not sure who that is. I think that's, no, it's not Algie Crumpler. Algie Crumple is 83. That one going over to Peerless Price on the right side, going to fall incomplete by the deflection on the line. Michael Vick going to pass again, getting that one off just before he's hit. This one's going to be caught by Jenkins, number 12, making an athletic grab. Lots of straight up post up the middle that Michael Vick is slinging to. Rolling over to his right, got a couple of guys in pursuit. He's going to float that one up for Finneran, and Finneran makes the grab, making up for that drop on the last play. You can see here Michael Vick, those were his last year stats. Again, not sure why we're showing the last year stats. Jenkins makes a catch, throws a stiff arm. The slight man with a strong stiff arm there. That's a 9-yard gain, and the Falcons are knocking on the Buccaneers touchdown door. We got a 1st and goal here. Warren Dunn gonna avoid a tackle, gets taken down by Brooks and Quarles. 2nd and goal. Warren Dunn gonna get held up by a couple of Buccaneers here. It looks like Derek Brooks was in there on the tackle. Yet again, big 3rd down and goal. We missed the tackle with Derek Brooks, but it's Sheldon Quarles, and it looks like Victor Green gets in there for a huge stop on the third down stand. The kick is up. The kick is good, and we hold them to a 19-yard field goal. So after a 12-play, 78-yard drive that took 3.5 minutes, the Falcons have to settle for 3 points, and you have to imagine that they are disappointed with that result. Mario Edwards getting a good little return there, getting up to the Tampa Bay 28. Tom looking to pass on first down, has a man with the step. That's Keenan McCardell catching that one in stride, spinning out of the first tackle, and then he's finally chased down by his original defender. That's going to be a 30 to 40-yard gain by Keenan McCardell, and I feel like we've got to watch that one absolutely one more time. Tom with plenty of time to pass has McCardell with plenty of steps in front of him and is off to the races, is able to spin out of one tackle there, and he's tackled just inside of the 30-yard line. So Keenan McCardell, after coming back from injury, has been fantastic. He's got 3 catches for 59 yards so far in this game. Mike Allstott continuing to break tackles with his shoulders. That's a 6-yard gain on first down. On second down, Pittman actually going to catch this one, not being thrown behind him. That's just a 3-yard gain. It's going to bring up a third and 1 here. As you can see, the stats for our 2 best receivers so far, but this one, you know, is going on the ground to one Mike Allstott. 3rd and 1 situation. We get the first down and then some. Chris Draft makes the tackle, but it's going to drag him way across the first down line. We've got Kamela in motion on this 1st and 10 now that we're inside of the 2-minute warning. Once again, another broken tackle on the end of Mike Allstott's shoulder, but that's going to bring up a 2nd and 8. Play fake. Brady hit as he throws. That one's going to fall and dribble incomplete to the turf. Brady looking to pass again. Quick slant over the middle. That's Joey Galloway catching that in between 2 defenders. Gets smashed when he hits the ball. When he hits the ball, gets smashed when he catches the ball. But regardless, holds on to it for the end zone score. You can see here, risky pass over the lineman in between the 2 defenders. He was across the plane. If you remember from last episode, Joey Galloway had an almost not touchdown by catching it at the plane and being tackled beyond it, but this time he was inside the plane of the goal, and he is able to get that catch for 6 points. So the Buccaneers are going into halftime potentially up by a score of 14-3, and they will indeed, off of the back of the sack from Kenny Holmes. And I want to say, Kenny Holmes is starting to come on in this second half of the season. He has very quietly now crossed over 5 sacks for the year, so we love to see that from our secondary defensive end. We're having a good game. We're outgaining the Falcons by 100 yards. Time of possession is in our favor. We have turned the ball over, but we are doing well, and in no short part to Thomas Michael Jesus Brady, 9 for 14, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns for the young GOAT so far in this game. The Falcons are going to get the ball back in the second half. Not a great kick from Gramatica, and TJ Duckett is going to take some advantage of that, running all the way out of bounds, all the way up at the Atlanta 42. So good field position for the Atlanta Falcons to take over. Work done trying to do something about that. Gets a 5-yard gain, tackled there by Ian Gold and one other Buccaneers defender. Michael looking to pass this time. There is a flag down on the play as the ball falls to the turf, and this one is a clear defensive pass interference. Rondé Barber got a little bit too aggressive with his play on the ball, and that's going to move the chains forward into Tampa Bay territory for the Atlanta Falcons. Work done, taking the first down run. That rhymed a little bit. He's going to get 4 yards on that play. A couple of good runs for well done on this one. Pass over the middle is going to jump off of Jenkins' hands. I would probably drop the ball if I got hit by Derek Brooks after receiving a pass as well. Going to bring up a 3rd down, and this one is going to be well defended by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They will punt it away, and Tampa Bay takes over from their own 7-yard line. And let's get a little stiff arm after the shoulder charge. Let's get a little boost. Let's get Mike Allstott rumbling and stumbling all the way into the end zone. A 93-yard touchdown run by Mike Allstott, the longest play from scrimmage that we have had so far, and it comes on the back of the guy that has been making people miss with his brute strength all day. 1 shoulder charge, 1 stiff arm, One big 93-yard run, and the play of the season so far, arguably, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers comes from a huge Mike Allstott run. So just back where we started from, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go back on defense with the ball at their own 23-yard line. And not to be outdone, Warrick Dunn is loose. He gets almost down to the 50-yard line. We get about to the 46-yard line, and Warrick Dunn breaks off his biggest run of the day. Maybe a little light for Atlanta. Throws it to the right side. Peerless Price finally making a catch today. We're nearly halfway through the third quarter, and that is the first time that I have said Peerless Price's name. Victor Green makes a great tackle, but he is really shaken up on the play. He gets pulled onto the cart, and that is never a good thing when a player goes down to the cart. He's kind of stumbling there. It doesn't really look like a leg injury. We're worried about his bell on that one. We got a counter on third down. Warrick Dunn. He's going to ride with Sheldon Quarles, and he's going to ride that one all the way to a first down. Great play by Warrick Dunn to make the first down happen. He gets out of a tackle there. Will Allen in for the injured Victor Green is able to make the tackle, but that's going to be a first down. 3rd and 5 now. We got a drop back from Michael Vick. Throws it over the middle to Jenkins, who I thought I had the coverage on the play, but Jenkins gets the better of us there. Move the chains for the Falcons yet again. Throw over the middle, defended by 2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, including myself. A double deflection makes that one fall away. Michael Vick throwing again, almost directly into the hands of Derek Brooks, who almost had himself a second interception in 2 games. 3rd down, big throw. 4 Buccaneers, 1 Falcon. The Buccaneers are going to come out on top of that. Des White not able to make the catch, and that is just a when it rains it pours sort of thing, don't you think? Doinking the kick off of the upright. We've got 4 minutes left in the game, but it's kind of starting to feel like things are already getting out of hand for the Atlanta Falcons, and this is really their one chance to get back in contention for the division, because if they go 5-7 here, there is no way that the Falcons are even going to hope for a wild card. They'd have to win out for the rest of the season. I just don't think that is happening for them, as they catch a face mask call. That's going to move the chains, and then a 2-yard run by Pittman brings up 2nd down and 8. We throw to Pittman on the right side, where that catch and drop is called a fumble, and we don't agree with that. We go ahead and throw the challenge flag here, because even though we're up by 18, we're not trying to turn the ball over. And dropping back, Tom Brady, throwing it over. I mean, not a great pass, really. Not a good idea to throw that over with Chris Schaff right there. You can see the drop, and it turns out that they disagree with us, that apparently there was a football move made there, and it is called a fumble. So we get a fumble from Pittman, who's having kind of a tough day coming in for the injured Charlie Gardner, but Michael Vick is not helping himself out. Incomplete on 1st down, looking deep left to Peerless Price. He's going to be looking again, but this time it's Derek Brooks who comes in for the sack. So the rush really getting to Michael Vick that time on the rollout. Rolling out to his right, throwing to his left one final time, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. 3 passes, 3 incompletions, no harm, no foul. Jones returns this one all the way up to the 18. It's going to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a chance to get deep one more time for Ken Dilger. Ken Dilger has been balling today. He's got 3 catches for at least 30 yards. Tom Brady has now officially thrown for over 3,000 yards in this year, and it is only game number 12. That means he has 4 more games to potentially break that 4,000-yard marker for the season. Mike Allstott, what's new? Finding lanes and making guys miss with his brute strength. 10 rushes for 150 yards and a touchdown. Having a 93-yard rush helps here, but that means the other 9 rushes went for 63 yards, which is absolutely nothing to sneeze at. Now Pittman, he gets hit and loses the ball again, and we decide to bench him for the rest of the day, because even though we are up by a lot, 2 fumbles is sort of like a shame on me sort of thing. If you fool me twice, shame on me. So he's going to have the bench for the rest of the game. We're going to put Jamel White in for the rest of the game, and we're going to head into the final stanza up by a score of 21-3. This game is feeling very well in hand, but not to be outdone. Keenan McCardell catches a beautiful fade pass from Tom Brady. I believe that is going to be a pass interference, which we do get to decline, because you know I love me declining a pass interference in order to get the stats instead. And Keenan McCardell now has 750 career receptions, so great job. Congratulations to him. Mike Allstott goes up the middle for a gain of 2 yards. We are officially in trying to milk the clock and get out of here mode. Jamel White, he's going to toss that one over to the right side for another 2 yards, so it's a 3rd and 6 situation. We do think it is a little too early to go for it on the ground, so we just go through it for the air, but we go to Mike Allstott instead. Kind of funny that they measured it. It seemed like he was clearly past that first down marker, and the ball does not lie. The ball does not lie. We get the first down. We are now inside of the 20-yard line, letting that clock milk down a little bit. Jamel White gets the carry, tries to make a guy miss, can't get through the tackle. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 7 with time winding down. Allstott on the draw, makes a guy miss with his speed. I thought we were going to have to use our shoulder there, and that's going to get most of those 7 yards back. As we roll down just a little bit farther, we get Jamel White, our 3rd string running back. Pretty much only in because Michael Pittman couldn't figure out how to not fumble the football, and he goes ahead and shuts the door on the Atlanta Falcons. We get a nice toss, get a nice couple of blocks, although a little bit of just not recognition from the Atlanta defense. Maybe they weren't expecting the toss to the left side, but an 11-yard, 82-yard drive, an 11-play, 82-yard drive will most likely put this thing away as Simeon Rice sheds his defender, his blocker, for his 15th sack of the season. We're going to see if we can get him to 20 this year with just 4 games left to play in this first season. That one is going to be bobbled and dropped by Jenkins. And with 4 minutes left, things are feeling a little hopeless for the Atlanta Falcons. They missed the pass on 3rd down. For some reason, they go for it on 4th. Russell almost had himself a sack, but he's going to go ahead and knock that one away at the line. So the defense has been just insanely dominant. If you noticed, and I guess I'm going to kind of spoil things here as we get to 2nd and 5 with the clock winding down. Jamel White running over to the right side. Maybe could have taken that up the middle through the teeth of the defense, but decided to cut out to the right side. Regardless, we're going to throw that one to you-know-who, Mike Allstott, who, guess what, makes a guy miss with his shoulder, drives through Corey Hall. That's going to be a 1st down with us getting down to close to the 2-minute warning. So our defense has been crazy elite. We have not allowed a touchdown in 2 games now as we give the ball to Mike Allstott, who drives through a guy with his shoulder and gets pulled into the end zone. And this one is officially a blowout, y'all. Our 5th touchdown of the day. The Buccaneers put on an offensive show for the home field crowd. We got a 4th and 3 as the Falcons are trying to put some sort of score on the board, and Michael Vick throws the interception to Brian Kelly, and that one is truly going to make this one completely over. I wasn't even going to show any of that last drive, but then Kelly made that interception on 4th and 3, and so we just kind of had to show our defense showing up and being elite one last time. Kelly was all over that from the onset of the play. He was running before Vick even threw the ball. And that's going to do it for this one, everybody. We win another game. We move to 9 and 3. I'm pretty sure, and don't quote me on this, but we'll check at some point. We'll actually find out in the next SportsCenter. But I'm pretty sure this already clinched us the division, because now the Atlanta Falcons, who are in 2nd in the division, go to 5 and 7. So even if we lost out, I'm pretty sure we take home the division at 9 and 3. You see the stats there, 400 yards gained to just under 200 for the Falcons. We just absolutely crushed them in every aspect of the word. Mike Allstott, 13 attempts, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was an absolute beast today, doing it wherever it needed to be done. So we'll take a look at everybody's stats here. Brady, another brilliant day, 14 for 19, 74% completion percentage, 122 passer rating, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Mike Allstott, 163 yards. Pittman and White did not do as well, but Allstott had 2 of the touchdowns. Jamel White had 1 touchdown, and so we had it going like that. Ken Dilger, 73 yards, kind of out of nowhere. Keenan McCardell had a touchdown. Joey Galloway had a touchdown. Great job by our receiving core. Ian Gold led the way for the Buccaneers with 6 tackles. Derek Brooks with 4, Quarles with 3. Ian Gold also had 3 assists on the day, as did Dwight Smith. Sacks, just Buccaneers. Love to see that. Brooks, Rice, and Holmes each getting a sack apiece. Derek Brooks had 2 passes defended, and the 2 interceptions on the day go to Brian Kelly on the Bucs and Scott on the Falcons. So you can kind of see here we're on a 4-game winning streak, but we haven't played anyone that's good since we lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's going to continue against the San Diego Chargers. So if you're excited for us to hopefully continue to beat up on bad teams on our way to the playoffs for season number 1, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. That could be you. If you haven't already, like the video. That helps new people find the content. And if you've done all those things, or just you're here in general, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye.